In a futuristic alternate universe, hyperconsumerism and inadequate junk disposal have turned Earth into an uninhabitable wasteland. All plant species have gone extinct due to the harsh conditions, and water sources have dried up. Tons of non-degradable garbage litter the planet, rendering it unsuitable for humans. Faced with these extreme conditions, everyone evacuates the dying planet and boards a massive mothership known as the Axiom. The Axiom is sturdy and reliable, housing all humans in space. The gigantic craft boasts various basic and luxurious facilities, including beaches, spas, and a tremendous amount of food. At their departure, humans leave an army of robots to dispose of the accumulated waste. These robots commence their hectic clearing task and continue for years. Centuries later, most of the machines become inoperative, leaving only one remaining robot named Wall-E. Over the years, Wall-E continues his task, judiciously bundling the piling waste for easy disposal. One evening, after a long workday, he finds a friendly cockroach and takes it to his shelter. The shelter is an unorganized dump filled with numerous robotic spare parts and unique items, which Wall-E finds fascinating. Once home, he puts a tape in his media player and watches a video on TV. Wall-E spots a human couple holding hands and enviously wishes for a companion. Seconds later, Wall-E is distracted by an approaching sandstorm. He quickly locks his shelter and prepares for the night. The next day, Wall-E resumes his daily routine of compiling garbage, but is soon astonished to find a budding plant, the first on Earth in centuries. Carefully, he picks up the seedling and returns it to his shelter. There he notices a moving red light and is intrigued. Wall-E chases the light and ends up in a desert as an unknown spaceship lands. The craft drops off a strange-looking pod and swiftly blasts off. Wall-E watches suspiciously as a robot named Eve emerges from the pod. Eve is a sleek, updated robot, and Wall-E instantly falls in love. Eve is feisty, shooting laser blasts at random objects at the slightest provocation. Yet Wall-E remains enthralled, trailing her from a distance. He observes her all day and soon realizes she is searching for something. Eve scans multiple items but cannot locate her objective. Curious, Wall-E musters courage and approaches her to ask about her search. Eve chats with him but refuses to disclose any mission details. Wall-E is disappointed but respects her boundaries, and the duo quickly switches topics. Minutes later, a sandstorm hits, disorienting Eve. Wall-E leads her to his shelter and shows her his collection of collected items. He presents a bubble wrapper, a light bulb, and a Rubik's Cube, marveling Eve with each object. The duo watches a movie on Wall-E's media player and even dances. Afterwards, he shows her the seedling. Eve promptly scans it, and her radar turns green, signifying she has been searching for a plant all this time. She retrieves the seedling and sends a signal into space before going into standby mode. Wall-E tries to revive her, but his efforts fail. The following day, Wall-E heads to work, leaving Eve in his shelter. Hours later, the ground shakes, and the spaceship returns. Wall-E races to it and sees the craft grab a dormant Eve, placing her alongside other similar pods. Wall-E bids his cockroach goodbye and clings to the craft as it takes off. The ship launches into space, and Wall-E drifts momentarily but regains his grip as it passes the moon and stars. Eventually, it reaches and enters the Axiom. The craft parks at a waiting station and offloads Eve and the other bots for examination. A machine scans the bots and discovers the plant in Eve's cabinet, triggering an alarm. Cyborgs hurriedly take Eve away. Wall-E follows and finds himself in a hallway full of machines before encountering a crowd of humans. He is astonished by their chubby physique and soon discovers their sedentary lifestyle. Humans no longer perform basic activities independently. They rely entirely on robots, consume sugary drinks, and avoid healthy foods. Space's low gravity and this lifestyle have led to extreme anatomical changes. Humans are now overweight with extremely low bone mass. Wall-E follows Eve and encounters two humans, befriending them. He eventually sees Eve escorted into the ship's control room and follows. There, Captain McCrae, assisted by the ship's autopilot Otto, conducts the daily routine check. After clearing the systems, McCrae delivers a speech via projected screens, announcing that 700 years have passed since humans evacuated Earth. Multiple generations have lived and died since, yet he congratulates the passengers on their survival. Before concluding, Otto informs him of Eve's return with a seedling. The captain is perplexed, No robot has ever returned with a plant. Consulting an automated manual, McCrae views an old video explaining that retrieving a plant indicates Earth is now inhabitable. He is instructed to place the seedling in a hollow detector to guide the ship back home. Eve awakens, spots Wall-E, and hides him. McCrae authorizes the ship's AI to retrieve the seedling. Eve's cabinet is empty, so he assumes a fault and sends her to the diagnostics center. Wall-E approaches McCrae, shaking him. He discovers dirt in his hand from Earth. Fascinated, McCrae researches the planet and vows to return. Eve and Wall-E arrive at the center. Wall-E is confined for faulty bots while Eve is taken for repairs. Misinterpreting her repairs as torture, Wall-E rescues her, firing an energy blast that releases all faulty devices. They are marked as rogue bots and pursued. Eve scolds Wall-E but still saves him. She eventually takes him to an escape pod returning to Earth, narrowly avoiding a pursuing cyborg. Otto's henchman, Go-4, stashes the missing plant in a pod and sets the aircraft to self-destruct. Wall-E rushes in to retrieve it, but gets locked inside and sent into space. Eve pursues in an emergency escape pod. She sees the pod explode and fears Wall-E and the plant are lost, only to find him alive with the recovered seedling. Eve hugs Wall-E in gratitude. The duo ignites a spark between them. They re-enter the Axiom, hiding from police bots. Eve conceals Wall-E and takes the plant to McCrae, who initially orders Otto to place it in the hollow detector. Otto intervenes, revealing a centuries-old directive to prevent humans from returning to Earth. McCrae argues the directive is outdated. The seedling proves Earth is habitable. Otto ignores him, and Go-4 throws the plant down a trash chute. Wall-E retrieves it but is electrocuted and sent down the chute. Eve is also forced into the chute. The duo lands in a trash dump and is compressed. A cleaning robot following Wall-E's dirt trail saves them. Eve reunites with Wall-E, who needs a new circuit board. Learning that spare parts exist in his Earth shelter, Eve becomes determined to place the seedling in the hollow detector to guide the Axiom home. They face resistance from police bots but are aided by faulty cyborgs freed by Wall-E, who collectively overcome the opposition. Meanwhile, Otto imprisons McCrae in his room. The captain lies helplessly for a while, but soon devises an escape plan. Using a screen, he tricks Otto into thinking he has the plant. Otto comes to his room to check, but McCrae quickly pounces on him and escapes his confines. The duo tussles for a while, but the robot eventually throws him off. Once free, Otto closes the hollow detector and tilts the ship, causing all the humans to slide across the floor. Wall-E sees the closing hollow detector and wedges himself in to stop it from fully shutting. Sadly, the machine's weight crushes him, damaging many of his parts. At that moment, McCrae regains his footing and attacks Otto, manually shutting down the rogue cyborg for good. Eve seizes the opportunity and quickly places the plant in the hollow detector, returning the ship to Earth. Upon arrival, Wall-E's pet roach greets them, and Eve immediately rushes the severely damaged bot to his shelter. She frantically searches his shelves for the needed parts and repairs him in a flash. Wall-E regains consciousness but sadly appears to have lost his personality and memories, looking at Eve with a blank stare. She tries her best to restore him, but all efforts initially fail. Devastated, she emotionally holds his hand and gently butts heads with him, igniting a spark. This gesture helps jostle his memories, and Wall-E gradually regains his personality as they butt heads once more, gently this time. In the closing scene, humans finally exit the ship and transplant the seedling into the new ground. Months later, the plant multiplies, vegetation flourishes, and Earth gradually returns to a fertile, life-sustaining planet. Subscribe to see more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to support the channel. Don't forget to watch our upcoming videos. Thanks for watching.